A very simple response one can make to them, and actually Stephen Jay Gould, the paleontologist from Harvard whom you mentioned, talks very bluntly about this. We just happen to be here in an unrepeatable event that took place millions of years ago. We are a kind of a blip in the radar screen of time with no end in vision and so on. And so when he makes a statement like this, Jim, you've really got to look him in the eye. When he says life has absolutely no meaning, it's like a twig, flowing on the sea of nothingness or something, you ask him if that definition is meaningful, if the statement is meaningful. You see, it is not possible to debunk meaning while making a meaningful statement about life itself.
Very well said.
I said to a student at the University of the Philippines in Manila, who stood up at the end of one of my talk and shouted out and said, everything in life is meaningless. I said, you don't believe that? He said, I do. I said, no, you don't. He said, yes, I do. I said, you don't. He said, who are you to tell me I don't? I said, stand up and say it again. He said, everything in life is meaningless. I said, I assume that you assume that what you just said was meaningful. And if what you've just said was meaningful, then everything is not meaningless. On the other hand, if everything is meaningless, then what you've just said is meaningless too. You basically said nothing. You can sit down. You hate to do that, Jim. You hate to do that because you're not trying to put somebody down. But imagine a man of Gould's intellectual capacity spending all of his life at one of the most prestigious universities in the world while life is meaningless. It just tells you, what is this all about then? Why do I have to make sense then? Why does he ask me to defend Christianity? If life is meaningless, why should my philosophy be meaningful? Again, it becomes plainly unlivable. But you pointed out what Darwin said earlier, which was so poignant. And Darwin went on to say, after he submitted himself to this naturalistic explanation, he lost all interest in music and art and everything of that nature. We just heard Chris sing the Lord's Prayer when he began. There wasn't a person here who didn't have that heart resonating within them at the wonder and the grandeur of music. Turn on and listen to Handel or to Bach or listen to some of the great hymns of the faith. There's grandeur in music. There's grandeur in love. There's grandeur in the act of sexual consummation between man and wife. There's grandeur in the face of a little child. There's grandeur in this life of ours. I came to know Christ, Jim, on a bed of suicide when I was 17 years old. I'd given up all hope for life. I had no meaning. I know what it is to lie in a hospital bed and think that life is empty and senseless, and then to have the Gospel of John brought to my bed and to read John chapter 14, because I live, said Jesus, you shall live also. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes unto the Father but by me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. To know the meaning that he brought has so enriched my life that is the principal reason I stand before audiences today, to tell them they don't have to be vandalized by these in the world who tell us life is empty and meaningless.